Hello, hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. We are here for some morning messages and a midweek reading. It is the last week in February, and we are moving and grooving and getting on with it. There's been a couple themes that I've noticed in the past few days with certain clients and certain friends, and it's wild because it was what I talked about in my last reading. Remember, I was talking about how, if you guys didn't see it, go check that out. But I was talking about how the version of who we were when we first met somebody, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, is not who we are now. Like, we're changing, we're evolving, we're growing. So if we reach out or if we connect with people from our past, they're not going to recognize us. And if they haven't changed and if they haven't grown, then there's not going to be any kind of similarities or connections, or just there's not going to be an ability to connect. So if you're feeling called to reach out to somebody from your past, and especially if it's somebody that has cheated on you, has hurt you, and you're like, why do I keep going back to either an abuser or just, something that might not be right for you. I like to believe that people can change. And I like to believe that sometimes that pull is like the final peeling off of a layer that you need to do. It's almost like you need to reach out to like completely end it. Even though there might not be any interaction, maybe that person just ghosts you and they don't respond to your text. Or maybe you're just making amends and saying like, hey, I'm really grateful for our time together a couple of years ago. You've been on my mind, and I just want to say I'm really, really like grateful for you. Even if the person cheated on you, you can still do that. I believe that people that cheat and people that are hurting or people that just don't treat you well, just think about them as a 10-year-old child, and they're just acting out either out of narcissism because they want to control the situation and they want to control you and they want to feel powerful because they felt powerless as a kid. So I know this might be hard to hear and a lot of people might not agree with my perspective, but this is a more loving, I don't want to use the word enlightened because there's so much like that scales people, that puts people above people, but enlightened is really just no suffering and just you love everybody. And I believe that that's what we're here to do. I believe that we are here to jump into these bodies, to have experiences, but then to come out of them and love everybody where they're at. That doesn't mean you have to engage with them and have to allow them into your space to continue to hurt you because they're playing out a pattern or that control as that 10-year-old kid, those tantrums. But we can still, send them good energy and just distance ourselves, right? But if you're feeling that call to connect with somebody from your past, that's been happening this week for a lot of people. Hasn't really happened for me, but I'm seeing it in others, and they're feeling really bad about themselves that they did it. It's like, when you get that urge to text somebody and then you do it and you're like, why did I do that? Can I unsend it? And I've done that a few times in my life too, but I believe that our spirit guides us to do that because there's something unhealed in us that we need to see. So that shame, that embarrassment, that maybe that control, like maybe you're just trying to control somebody and saying, stop doing this because it's hurting you, but that's in you. Nobody else's behaviors and patterns should affect you unless obviously somebody's screaming at you in front of you. But if somebody's cheating on you and somebody's out there doing things and that's hurting you, I hate to say this, but it's not them. That is you attracting a situation because it's similar to your childhood. And at some point, you will get so evolved and you will grow so much that somebody can do that. And you might feel it or see it, observe it, and say, you know what? If they want to go do that, I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to go and find somebody better because I'm not a match to that behavior anymore. I maybe used to do that. And the universe is showing me that, wow, I used to be a match to that. But now that I'm observing it and seeing it as painful, I don't have to choose it. And I can choose to go over here and look for a healthier relationship with a woman or a man who can show up for me and who would, I was on a call yesterday with a woman and she's like local too, which, it's like she's probably like an hour away from me, but I guess she found my channel and we were talking. And I asked her to like look for what's missing, right? So she's shared her whole dating story in her past in the last like 10 years. And I was telling her, like, what do you want to happen? Like, what kind of partner do you want? And she was entertaining men who were just sending her like one line texts, or they weren't pursuing her. And we get to choose. Like, if we're over here thinking this is all we have and we're settling for the minimum, we have a choice, because that minimum is most likely your childhood. That is the trauma that is drawing you to that because it feels comfortable to your nervous system. And I'm telling you, patterns are so incredibly hard to break. And I filmed a podcast yesterday with my friend Jillian, and it's going to air in May. And we talked about patterns. She asked me, one of her questions that she asked all of her guests is, what topic do you think more people need to expand on? And my guides immediately said patterns, because so many people are suffering in their life and they stay in marriages and they stay in relationships and they stay on these loops because it's a pattern from their past, and their soul literally picked the pattern just to break it, just to cut it up and be like, all right, I did it. I learned my lesson. I'm not going to do it. And with my client yesterday, I was teaching her that if she's navigating and going towards these people who are breadcrumbing her, because that's what she got as a child, she now, as an awakened soul, has to realize that she chose that pattern to overcome. And then she's going to turn her head and she's going to move over here. And it's going to be really hard because it's addicting. You want to go back to what's comfortable because your nervous system literally feels better over here. But what you really want is over here. And it's a man saying, oh my gosh, what's your name? I would love to take you out on a date. And they're just forward, right? They're just very, very forward. And they're not in a room talking to other women in front of you. They're just very mindful of your feelings and of your emotions. And they want to make you feel safe in every moment. And if talking to another woman might activate you, they're going to be mindful not to do it right in front of you. And if they do, because it's a friendly woman and she's just a friend, they're going to come up and say, I hope you were okay with that. I wasn't doing that to make you jealous. Like, everything is just really honest. And as an awakened soul, you're not going to be in that active jealousy because that person is going to be so vocal with you. And you're going to see their actions about how they're going to move away from anything that might stir up emotion for you. They're going to work with your trauma, because that trauma will always be there. You're always going to have a little bit of jealousy and you're always going to have to work through it. But the way we heal it is having a partner that is literally willing to hear your trauma and say, oh, okay, I will do my best to make sure you're feeling safe with me. And I told her that's what she needs to look for, is somebody who's pursuing her, somebody who's wanting to take her on dates. He's planning the dates. He's just telling her, hey, be ready at 6:30 on Thursday. I'd love to take you out. And you don't have to worry about anything. That's what the masculines do. They take care of all the details so we don't have to worry. So we can relax and we can be in our creative feminine flow and we can manifest for the both of us. That's the feminine's job. She has a womb, so that's where she creates from. And if she is feeling activated and feeling jealous and feeling like he's not actively trying to do anything to soothe her, she can't create from that space. She can't feel safe. She's constantly going to be in survival mode. So we can choose the guy over here, or the girl over here, who is always leaving us wondering if we're good enough. They're always leaving us wondering when they're going to text next. There's just no consistency. There's no stability. And we do not want to take our inner child and give them to this person and say, hey, you can do whatever you want with them. You can ignore them. You could say you're going to be there and then never show up. Absolutely not. And that's the trauma from childhood. That's the pattern that our soul chose that we have to break. And then we move over here and we decide for ourselves that I want this kind of relationship. You play it out in your imagination, and I believe they exist. And there's so many people in awakened relationships who talk about it, and they say it is the one relationship on the planet that just keeps getting juicier and better. The more you dive into your shit together, and the more you say, like, hey, I'm feeling anxiety right now. Like, could you be honest with me? Like, having those deep conversations is what makes the passion, the sex, everything so much better. Okay, so starting off this reading, we are talking about moving away from patterns, ending them, and really choosing the higher level love that we know is out there for us. And we are done. We are so done. We're shutting a door on our past. We're not attracting those people anymore. And I'm telling you, it takes awareness in the moment to say, no, I'm not putting my inner child around that. Okay, because if he or she is like feeling so like, I don't know what's up and what's down, and you just feel like you're at the mercy of somebody else, that is not a relationship you want to be in. Okay. And I'm glad that I'm here sharing this. And I'm really, right now, I have this overwhelming feeling of love that I'm proud of myself for being able to be open and share this, because the calls that I sit on, I literally am so sad for some of these people because they don't have anybody in their life to say, no, do not put yourself there. You're just asking for more pain, and they just don't have anybody. They don't have a mentor. They don't have a parent. They don't have anybody that has this awareness. And that is why I always say that my mentor saved my life. She taught me boundaries. She taught me to value myself. And I still, sometimes struggle with like fully seeing it. Like I know it, but it's not fully not seeing it, being it. I know it, but it's not integrated yet. Okay, we got to call in our guides too. I have my yummy cacao drink, and I have the ingredients here because a couple of you guys had DM'd me on Instagram asking me about the cacao. So I use Sunwink. I get it on Amazon. I use this. I do one, I have like my little spoon. Made my drink over here this morning. So I have a little tiny spoon. I just do one little scoop. And then I do 2 scoops of the Dandy blend. Again, on Amazon, it's dandelion roots and chicory roots. So yummy. And then I do oat milk. I do vanilla oat milk because I can't do dairy. And I just feel like people in the United States should not be drinking dairy because where we source our milk from is not good. So, and who knows, that could be bad too. I have no idea what to believe in our world, but those are the ingredients. And I also do 2 drops of stevia. I do alcohol-free stevia, and it makes it like this like chocolatey milkshake. If you can see the sides, you can't really see, but like the powdery, it's just so good. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Let's call in our guides and let's get this started. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, please open sacred space. Please only allow the highest and widest light messages to come through. Bless me, bless my cards, bless my viewers. I love you all. I just heard people want to be seen. So people that are watching right now, whoever's watching this, and when you find these readings, it does not matter. We are not thinking about time. And if you see a date and it's like 3 months ago and you're like, that reading's not for me because it's from 3 months ago, absolutely not. They are timeless readings. And when you find them, they're meant for you. And as I was saying that, I forgot why I was starting to talk about that. Well, hot damn. Awesome. I'm already forgetting. Okay. We're going to do Angels of Abundance. It'll come back to me. Yeah, totally flew out of my head. Okay, gratitude list. Counting your blessings. Let me show you the card first. Sorry. Okay, counting your blessings and feeling gratitude for what you already have helps you to be centered in your heart instead of fixated on worries in your mind. What and who are you grateful for right now? Keep focusing upon gratitude and you'll discover the amazing generosity of this universe. Love it. So first message is when you're trying to manifest anything into your life, gratitude is like the ultimate win. And I know we talked earlier about patterns and moving out of patterns. Like, be grateful that you learned that lesson. Be grateful for your childhood, even though it was painful, even though there might have been, like for me, there was sexual abuse, physical abuse, trauma, neglect. I felt like I was just left to figure out life on my own. Meanwhile, there was tons of people around me, but I felt so lonely. And I also wanted to be alone. And then I couldn't be alone because I wasn't allowed to have alone time. So it's like everywhere I went, I couldn't find my safety. I couldn't find a safe space for me just to feel what I wanted to feel. And I was constantly adjusting to other people's emotions. And but why I'm grateful for all of that is because now I can help other people understand why their childhood is the way it was, or was the way it was. Because I believe everything is picked. I believe everything is chosen for us to expand and to grow. So if we can become the observer of our childhood and really look at all the details, like I even had like some new awareness this week or last week with my mom. She shared with me that, and I think I already shared this in a video, that I witnessed.
Meet Asana, a work management platform that helps companies get more done and save more time.
Hold on one second. Okay, sorry that I had my YouTube open and there was some commercial playing out of nowhere, which I think is spirit talking to us. Okay, so I feel guided to do a page pull. So we're going to do 365 ways to raise your frequency. This is on Amazon. If you guys want to go buy it, it's a great book. Let's see what message we need to hear other than what we've already gotten, which is having gratitude. And I forgot where I left off after that little hiccup. So that's like the second time that's happened. So spirit's just moving me along. Okay, there's 2 pages. One says number 67, today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow, take one day at a time. And then there's a section, a chapter title says part 3, releasing negativity. So I feel like they're both messages for us. But this says, are you always planning and organizing until your schedule is bursting at the seams? There's nothing wrong with living. Let me get this right. There's nothing wrong. Let me get my glasses on. That's probably be helpful. There's nothing wrong with living a full life, but to raise your personal vibrational rate, try a different approach. Instead of planning every little detail, try living one day at a time without planning for tomorrow. It's okay. Take a deep breath. You can do this. You can relinquish control for a short time and just be. Just see what happens if you have a day without plans. You guys know I love teaching this. It's called an intuitive day. You wake up and you just go with whatever your heart feels. And you're strengthening that muscle of hearing what your soul is calling you to do, which is going to help you make big decisions in the future. Okay, it says, in letting go of your need to control every aspect of your life, you'll find that new things will come to you that you weren't even expecting. When your day is chock full of things to do, you don't have any room for the unexpected to appear. And if it does, you may not notice it. If you only consider what is happening in the moment and let go of control issues, then tomorrow is only tomorrow and you'll face what comes as it appears. If you can keep the mindset that today is today and tomorrow is tomorrow and just take it one day at a time, you will give your soul energy a break from the hectic pace it's always in, allowing it to grow. You may even find that you're able to relax a little along the way. And then the little asterisk at the bottom says, live today as if you'll never have another, and tomorrow will take care of itself. If that's not my motto, I don't know what is. That is exactly what losing my daughter taught me, is I began to wake up. Here, I'll show you guys if you want a screenshot. I began to wake up and I just literally took it day by day because I, number one, wanted to open myself up to the magic. And if I planned out what I was going to do, there was no space, exactly what the book said. So I actually, when I created my Micah magic deck, I have a card that says an intuitive day, and it's literally telling you to do that. It's saying like, hey, don't have a plan. Trust that if the laundry needs to get done, it will get done. If you have to write a paper for school, it will get done. You can literally take 5 hours and put everything else on a shelf and just give those 5 hours to yourself and to your connection to spirit and to God and say, use me. Where will you have me go? What will you have me do? Who will you have me see? And what will you have me say? Bring me all the magic today. I always say that prayer every single morning. And actually, the girl I did the podcast with yesterday, she asked me for the prayer this morning. She's like, what was that prayer that you shared on the podcast? So I gave it to her. And that prayer opened your energy up to being used for magic, right? Being an open vessel to be moved to where you need to be moved. And when you have gratitude for your journey, like we got that first card, when we're looking to raise our vibration, I feel like that's the theme of this reading, is how to raise our vibe is through gratitude, appreciating your past, appreciating your patterns that you're breaking up and you're moving away from. And then being in the present moment and realizing that we don't know what tomorrow holds. So you breaking that pattern or you saying no to something, you just opened up so much energy for the universe to bring you something tomorrow. And I just heard money. So we're going to get my money deck out, meaning tomorrow money might be coming for somebody. And I'm going to share this right now that like I had like a big drop. Something just literally dropped in my house. I don't know what that was, or maybe it was upstairs, but nobody's upstairs. I had a big drop of money come in the past 2 weeks. But the 4 weeks before that, I felt so dry and I'm like, there's a drought. Where am I going to get money from? Like, I felt like I had all of my regular clients and I'm just like, I need a little extra money. And then I felt so much anxiety. I had anxiety one day, then a peaceful day, an anxiety day, peaceful day. And it went on for like 4 or 5 days, that cycle. And literally in the past 2 weeks, I made so much money. And I just was like, I wrote it on my whiteboard and I kept like tallying up all my clients and my mentorship clients. And I was like, holy cow, I just made a record amount of money in 2 weeks. And it was almost $10,000. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was coming. Did I manifest this? Like, what just happened? I'm probably going to do a video on it. But I was feeling so stretched and so not in my gratitude. And I was worried. But spirit always shows up for me, always. Like I'm telling you guys, I could have $100 in my bank account, and in 2 weeks, I could have $10,000. And that can happen for you. I did 3 readings in the past week for one woman, and she got this overwhelming message that money was coming. And she was spending money on the reading. She was spending money on a hotel room. And I told her, I'm like, this money will come in. Like, you can trust this because I'm living proof that it literally drops in out of nowhere. I even sat and asked myself, like, what did I do different? Like, why did this money just come in? Why did all of these opportunities come in? The podcast, like everything. And we're not in control. And that's exactly what that book was saying, is we have to expect the unexpected. We have to be open and just live in today and be present and be grateful for what we do have. Make a list of everything that you already have. And it's a floating feeling. When you feel like you're not sure what's next, you feel like you're floating and there's nothing there to catch you. And I think of floating like floating in the air, like you could be dropping really, really fast, like if you jump off a cliff, not floating in the water. But I just think of like somebody who's just like needing the ground, right? It's almost like gravity doesn't exist and you're just floating, but you want to be back down on the ground, like you're floating through space. Okay, this says, see me in your mind as an endless flow of energy. I love teaching about money this way because if you think about it, money is really just like water. It's a flow. Okay, so you're going to go through waves of big amounts of abundance. So, me almost getting $10,000 in 2 weeks, that's insane. You know, it's insane to not have like, I don't know, and to not have certain things in place to really make that much money. It came in so many different ways and it's a flow. But before that, remember I said I was in a drought for 4 weeks. I felt like I was just like dry and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I not doing? What do I need to create? How do I force this wave to come? And that's part of this journey, is we have to relax into the unknown and know that it will come and I will be sparked to take action when the time is right. So that $10,000, that covers like all the bills for the, you know what I mean? Like, so that adds to my savings account. So for me to not be getting money for a certain period of time, but then to get a big chunk of money, if I would have gotten like $1,000, $2,000 each week, that would have felt safer, right? I would have been like, okay, money's coming in. But in life, it doesn't always happen that way. We have to be open to the waves going out and the waves coming in, the waves going out and coming in. And that's what this is saying. It's a flow of energy. And we have to surrender and know that, like, if you're on this journey and you're not doing a typical safe job, you have to get used to that. You got to get really comfortable with the unknown. And you have to be willing to sit in that drought period and trust. And you have a deep knowing that you will be moved or the money will come, meaning you'll be moved to take action, to create something. Okay, now we have keep $100 bill in your wallet. So what this does is, I've read many stories about this, and that's why I created this card, is when you see $100 in your wallet, you feel rich. You don't have any sense of lack. So if you take two people, one person always uses credit cards and they don't have any cash in their wallet, and then the other person has $100 bill, maybe a bunch of wands, they're seeing an abundant wallet as opposed to an empty wallet, right? The energy behind both of those wallets is very, very clear. It gives you a sense of being full. It's overflowing with cash. This one's empty. It's going to make you feel empty. So placing, you could do maybe even $51 bills. It's a really chunky wallet though, but putting a lot of bills or just $100 bill in your wallet will change your energy. It's actually changing your subconscious mind, because when you're going in your wallet, you're like, I have money. I have money. And it becomes this thought, I have $100. I'm okay if I need it, if I need to use it. And I guide people to not use it. And as I just looked up, I literally have $100 bill on one of my swans on my kitchen counter, because I did a reading party the other night and they paid me in cash and in Venmo. And I went home with like over like $600. It was awesome. I'm sorry, $500. And I have the cash from it. So I was like, ah, every time I walk into my house, I feel rich. I feel abundant. So keeping money in your wallet or somewhere where you can see it is going to change your subconscious mind about it. Oh, we already have one. Interesting. One was already flipped. Feel the excitement of having me. Yes. Spirit, you are too good today. I feel so much love right now. I'm not sure why, but money is love. Money is an energy that we need. It's a resource. It's okay to want more of it. And when you have it, you just feel like you're so grateful for it. That's the gratitude list. I'm thinking that maybe the gratitude is be grateful for the money that you do have. You know, even if you only have that $50 or $100 in your bank account, that's 100 more than somebody else, right? And I know that's like hard to understand, but if you go to the store and you go and look at all the things that you could buy for that $50, $100, you feel abundant. So feeling the excitement of having me. And that's why I wrote it on my whiteboard, all the bookings and all the money that came in and all the random different ways, is because I know now on this journey that if I write it and if I see it, I feel it. Which that little phrase just reminded me, after my daughter passed, before I spiritually awakened, I was really into self-growth. I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I would drive to my school. I would work out in the weight room, and I loved it because nobody was there. It was quiet. And then I would drive all the way home. It was a 20-minute drive. Then I'd get showered, and then I'd go to school and teach all day long. And I'd get to my desk in the morning. I had a desk calendar, and I was tracking heart signs back then. I wasn't into spirituality or anything, but I was into self-growth. And I remember writing on my calendar really big, write it, think it, feel it. Write it, think it, feel it. Write it, think it, feel it. Because every time I wrote something that I wanted, I would think about it, right? Or think it, write it, feel it. It was think it, write it, feel it. You think the thought, then you write it, then you feel it. And that was me manifesting before I knew about it. And it was so cool that I was guided to do that. But my daughter set me up to do all of that. Speaking of her, I just heard Micah Magic. We get guided to do those things. And when you feel any kind of emotion towards something, you're generating more energy. You're telling the universe, I want more of this. And it's a really beautiful space to be in, because you're like, I can feel it before it's here. And then when it arrives, like I just talked about the money that I received recently, it's like, wow, like how How did that just come out of thin air? You know, I used to write back when I was a teacher, I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to make $10,000 a month. Meanwhile, I had no idea how that was going to happen, but I was just manifesting. And now I just made it in 2 weeks. So, but I'm not saying it's going to be every 2 weeks, but I'm open to it. But it's just wild how the universe knows what we need and it always takes care of us. But we have to be willing to be in that risky energy of not having the money, right? And I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. So you're next. You're going to get that $10,000. You're going to get that $30,000. And I'm just going to keep going because this feels good right now, the shuffling like this. I'm just going to keep going until I feel like I want to stop. Oh, hello. A little bit more. I love this deck. It's going to tell a story. You can do over 15 cards and it's still magical. I'll make sure none flipped. Okay, let's gather them all up and see what Micah wants to tell us. First one on the floor is they will reach out. So if you're waiting for somebody to contact you, they will reach out. And you will say yes. Okay, let's see what this is. Your soul is calling you to level up. Free your mind. You are here for a bigger purpose. Step into the new you. Make the change. You will feel amazing. Money is on the way. Yes. So good. Oh my gosh. And we got the 888 abundance card, infinite abundance in all forms. It's time to create. An invitation is coming soon. Wow. Manifest more for yourself. I think that's the last one. I'm going to count real fast how many cards we just got. And then I'm going to line them up and revisit them. So invitation, I'll say them again as I pull them out. Invitation is coming soon. 888, infinite abundance. Manifest more for yourself. Say yes, which is 4. 5 is make the change. You will feel amazing. 6, step into the new. 7, you are here for a bigger purpose. 8, your soul is calling you to level up. 9, free your mind. 10, they will reach out. 11 and 12. So we got 12. Money is on the way. It's time to create. Okay. I just got a message that this, you know, for example, for me, the 10,000, that's just the start. So for somebody out there, if you just got your tax return, right? That's just the first wave. You need to feel that excitement of having that money. And yes, that's a pretty predictable way that you get money if you're getting money back from your tax return. Speaking of that, I need to get my taxes done today. And that was me reminding myself, but that's a predictable way, right? Well, use that money that is in your hands right now, and maybe you put it towards your self-growth. I had one woman pay me yesterday for the mentorship. As soon as she got her tax return, she paid me. Well, guess what? She just pushed a button for more to come in. Because now every time, if money is a flow of energy, if you're putting it out, you're going to get it back double, triple, quadruple. And the people that understand this are the people that experience it. The people that don't understand this, they're scared to quickly get the money and then spend it. Because they're like, oh no, like it's not going to come back. I just got it. I want to keep it to myself. Absolutely not. The more it flows, the more comes. Okay. And I know for me, I had multiple days where I was spending certain things, but then also being smart with my money and being like, you know what, the old Michelle would probably spend this money right now. And I was really being I was using my discernment in the last 4 weeks, but when I was in my drought, I was like learning the lesson. I was like, wow, I really respect money. I'm not spending it on 7-Eleven runs, or, you know, I stopped going to Starbucks and I just am different. Like I started drinking this more. I don't go on my morning drives. I'm saving on gas. Like I just started to like tighten up my ship. And I know that when we do that, when we take care of ourselves and really honor money, more money comes in. Okay. So an invitation is coming. That invitation could be you having an opportunity to create more money. It's time to create. And then we have manifest more for yourself. When the invitation comes, say yes. Make that change. You will feel amazing. Be tighter with your money, but also don't be scared to put it out for your growth. Step into the new you. You are here for a bigger purpose. Your soul is calling you to level up. Wow, I didn't realize that I put those three side by side. They're all the same message. Free your mind. Free your mind means do not let the ego tell you that you're a bad person. Do not let the ego tell you that you're far behind on the journey, that you're not good enough to create anything, or there's no way you're going to be able to make money. The mind likes to create all these stories. And when I have this card, you're freeing your mind. You're saying, no, ego, you can go rest. We trust in a higher power. And this happens in the drought. When you're in the drought and you feel like money's not coming, the mind will get crazy. It will tell you all kinds of things, and you have to free it up. And you have to say, I'm not going to think that thought. Nope, no way. And then we also have, they will reach out. I just heard when somebody gets their finances in order, that's when everything in the partnership starts to flow. It's like you feel safe. You feel like you can come towards the person because you feel like you got your ducks in a row. Okay. I was checking in with my beautiful sister this morning and she just said, yep, I'm doing great. Love that. I have two sisters, if you guys didn't know, Julie and Holly. Julie's the oldest, then my brother Dave or Davey or Bunky. We call him Bunky. And then there's Holly, and then there's me, aka Shushy. So we have some weird nicknames in my family, Bunky and Shushy. But number 3, Archangel Michael is with you now. Even though you can't see it, I am actively working on the situation. I am here and helping you. That's the money situation. He is going to be bringing you all that you need. And, you know, there's no mistake to why he's one of my guides, because you guys connect with him too. If you're on my channel watching me, then you connect with Archangel Michael. Call on him, ask him for help. If I'm in a space where I can't cleanse my energy, I literally will sit in a chair, even if I'm in the middle of a session with somebody and I'm feeling a heaviness, I will sit there and go, Archangel Michael, in my head, while the person's talking, please put your white light around me, please shield me, please protect me. I just feel like he is just this strong man that I have with me forever. And I believe that even if I had a partner who was a strong man with me, like I can't always rely on him to save me all the time, because I'm not always going to be with him. I'm this soul on my own journey. And being in partnership, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. But with an archangel, there's no pressure. They want to show up for you. They want to support you. And they can't always take action unless you activate your voice. You have to physically say, Archangel Michael, I need you right now. I need you to intervene. I need you to take these obsessive thoughts out of my head. I need you to help me free my mind and tell me that I'm going to be okay when I feel like I don't have any money. And I just got guidance to tell somebody that it's okay to live with family during your spiritual awakening. It's textbook, actually. Most spiritual entrepreneurs talk about this. They talk about how when they spiritually awakened, it's almost like they backtracked. And it seems to be backtracking, but you're just currently cocooning in a safe environment for your healing. And if you can't afford a place on your own, that's okay. There's so much judgment around that in the world. Like if you're living, like I just went to that reading party the other night, and it was a mom, a divorced mom with 2 kids, and her teacher friend was literally living in her like downstairs area. There was like a little apartment down there. There was a living room, a bathroom, a bedroom, and it was this new house, and it was perfect for her friend who's single. And now she gets to be in like a community environment. She gets to be with her kids and help out. And everyone was like, are they gay? And they're hiding it. And it's so wrong to think that. There's nothing wrong with being gay, but if they're not gay, why can't 2 women live together? And when they have kids, like there's just no rules. We don't have rules in life, and all our lives we've been told it has to be a certain way. And I believe this is the time where we're breaking all of those molds and we're literally writing a new story. I think that humans were designed to be in community, and I think that's why I still live here, because I like having neighbors. I like knowing that somebody's right next door, and I just think more people need to learn how to live in community and how to open themselves up to people. Because of our trauma, we don't want to get close to people. We have closed heart chakras. So it doesn't feel safe because we've been burned so many times by people, and you don't know who to trust. And there's just so much around that. But getting back to Archangel Michael, If there's a situation you're worried about, or you feel like people are judging you, or your mind is just racing with thoughts, ask him to free your mind. He will cut through all of that BS and he will help you. There's been many times where I needed to get started on a project, and the night before I'd say, Archangel Michael, tomorrow morning, please just jump into my body and make me want to start this project. Make me want to get showered and dolled up and start filming. Give me the juice. And it happens. I literally wake up and I'm like, I actually want to do this. This is so crazy. It works. And then I started doing it more. And that was me just dancing with it on my own. Nobody taught me that. I just was so desperate at the time. And that's what happens in life is we fall to our knees and then we pray, where we should be praying all the time. All right, I just got guidance to do one more from this deck. We should not wait until we're suffering to pray to our angels, you guys. They're there always. And even your loved ones. Okay. There's a bunch, but we're just going to take the one that flipped. It's Archangel Michael again. Stay the course. Don't panic. You're not on the wrong path. You're just having a bumpy start. Learn from your experiences and keep going. My man, Mike, he's showing up. Look at his sweet smile. I always love that he's like a long blondie. Okay, let's see. That cacao is kicking in. It just makes your mind so clear. Where coffee kind of makes you jittery, cacao has the same caffeine effects, but it's pure and it's clear and it just makes your mind so clear. I just feel very alert. Okay, let's do animals. Feeling the flow. The snake. This is a rebirth energy. I'm going to read this one to you guys. It's also like untapped potential. I have it on my phone. Also, if any of you guys are interested, I do a 12-month animal spread. I just ran into this one. They look like this. It's like a clock format. And I give you an animal. The center animal is for the whole year. And then the animals in the clock format, 12 o'clock is January, 1 o'clock is February. So the frog would be January. So January, February, March. So the black for this person who got this spread, the black egg would be next month. And then you go and you read what your card says, and it's actually a prediction for that month. So it's $44.44. You can Venmo me, you can PayPal me, Cash App me. But I pull these spreads for people and they love it. I have like probably over 100 people that do it every year, and I've been doing it for 5 years now, and they live for it. And it's just so cool to see, like, I tap into your energy, I pull the cards, I ask spirit to bring you the perfect card for each month for the whole year. And it is wild how the animals are literally predictions for your future. So let's see what the snake says. So this is what you would do if this animal was for March. It says, snake, guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential. The snake is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that Shakti, our creative life force, lies dormant at the base of our spine in the form of a coiled snake. Regardless of whether this image rings true for you, it's well worth considering the amount of unawakened or untapped potential within you. What would life look like if you woke it up? How can you stir it from its slumber? An experienced yoga or meditation teacher can lead the way. Make haste. The snake card appears when there is no more time to waste. It says, when you're in balance, you're prosperous, creative, and charismatic. When you're out of balance, you start and stop many things. To bring into balance, meditation or Kundalini yoga. So now that we've read that card, which I often guide people to do when they're starting to learn how to become an intuitive reader, I always say, read the book, understand it, see what messages come through. So this is the Kundalini awakening. If you could pretend like there's this little coiled, beautiful, gentle, loving, not scary snake type of energy at the base of your spine, and it holds your gifts. It holds everything that you're supposed to do in this lifetime, and we want to wake it up. And when you know your Kundalini is awakening, you tend to have excessive heat throughout your feet and your hands. Maybe you're sweating profusely. You feel an electricity go up your spine. You feel like you might have vertigo a couple nights in a row. You just feel like you're being activated and your soul is turning on. And most people confuse it with like physical illness. You know, when my Kundalini awakened, it was in 2020. I had a really, it was sometimes it awakens with like falling off a horse or getting in a car accident, or for me, it was like a really uncomfortable situation. Somebody that I knew and that was close to me and not sexually supposed to be into me tried to sleep with me. And it was so uncomfortable. And it just put me in a really tough position. And I was just like, ew, no, no, like go away. And I like shut my door, slammed my door, locked it, chained it. And then that night at like 2 a.m., my Kundalini awakened. I felt like my hands were on fire. I literally felt like I was dying. I was on my couch and I was looking at my hands going, what is happening to me right now? Like, I've never had a fever this bad. This doesn't even feel like a fever. What is this? I just was looking at my hands going, I was just activated and I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, that's what happened. So because of that trauma, like that fear of somebody like breaking in and trying to hurt me, that activated that coiled snake at the base of my spine, and all of that energy started to flood through my body and I was feeling it in my hands. So it can be trauma that sparks a Kundalini awakening. It could be a spontaneous awakening, like you're just sitting in traffic one day and all of a sudden you feel like energy shoot up through your spine. There's involuntary movement. Your body starts moving in weird ways and you're not in control of it. So if you just think about it, it's almost just like a firecracker gets lit under your ass and you're just like, I can't control this. So the involuntary movement, if you try to resist it, it's going to be painful. So a lot of people were getting this message because when you awaken, your energy body has to awaken. Okay. You start to literally feel like, I don't know how to describe it. You just feel like you can't slow it down. It's just happening. And the universe is doing that to us because it wants us to be pure. It wants our body to be, our vessel to be pure so we can be who we came here to be. Okay. Okay. I'm feeling like we're going to end this soon. Let's end with 2 tarot. I just heard 2 tarot. 1, 2. The Queen of Cups. And the Hierophant. Okay, Queen of Cups and the Hierophant. I love this. Both of these are so good. So the Hierophant is in an enlightened being. That's like the Kundalini energy, the aftermath. So after you awaken and your soul turns on and you activate this energy, and some people live their whole life and their Kundalini never awakens. But I think because of the way the world is and because of all the energy on our planet right now, I think everybody's going to have to go through one, and it might be scary, but my advice is just to go onto Aaron Abke's YouTube channel. He teaches all about it. So educate yourself so you can look for the signs. You can look for what's happening so that you don't feel crazy. Because what also happens is it stirs up all of the psychosis in our mind of all of the crazy thoughts we've ever thought. It all comes to the surface. So people feel like they're going crazy, but they're not. It's just the energy moving out of the top of their head. But the mind gets really loud because it's losing control. Okay, so after you go through your Kundalini, you become this enlightened being who has full faith and trust in the universe, and you believe in yourself to be able to navigate this path. And then the Queen of Cups, that's that same energy. She is fully surrendered. She's like, Spirit, I will do what you want me to do. It's that prayer, universe, where will you have me go? What will you have me do? Who will you have me see? And what will you have me say? And you just open up your energy to being a vessel, because the Kundalini happens so that we can shine our light, so more light can be on our planet. If people stay with their Kundalini not activated, and you do not want to activate your Kundalini on purpose, you don't want to do it. You want to let the universe do it. You want to let God do it. Let your higher self do it. Okay. Don't try to sit in a meditation like this guy, forcing it, forcing it, and forcing it. Okay. Because it might not be time yet. But so this is kind of like you surrendering, saying, I let my vessel be here to be used for good. And trust me, it can feel scary because your physical body, if you have a fear of death and a fear of illness, you're going to activate thoughts about that when you're experiencing this. Like when my hands were on fire, I didn't know who to call. I didn't know what to do. It was in the middle of the night. And I'm like, I've never experienced this before. So that's why I wanted to share it here, is because these odd moments might happen to you. And if you can educate yourself now, so that when it happens, you have the wisdom, you have the calmness to say, okay, my Kundalini is moving. I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to resist the involuntary movements. I'm not going to resist the heat. I'm going to understand that I'm not going to get good sleep for a couple months. All of my fears are going to surface and I'm going to have to let them surface. I might feel like a fragile butterfly, so I'm going to stay at home as much as I can. I might have to quit my job so I can handle all of these panic attacks and the anxiety. And I don't want to project that and say that that's how it's going to be. But just from my experience, that's how it was. And it was okay. And you're not always going to feel that way. That's the one thing I want you to remember. It's temporary. It's temporary. And I just heard, guess what happens when you activate or when you move out of that period of that activation? You're an open vessel now for things like this to come to you easily. Like I do believe that I attract money quicker because my vessel is so much more open, because I don't hold as many fears as I used to. I've freed my mind so much so that I don't have any resistance to that money coming. And I'm learning that the drought period is normal, right? And we just have to let it be there, because that's part of money. It's a wave. It's going to go out and it's going to come in. So that's our final message. We are going to surrender on this journey. This is also a spiritual teacher. So if you're looking for a mentor or a spiritual guide, that's what this guy is. The Hierophant is literally a spiritual teacher. You might be drawn to become one, or you might be drawn to work with one. And you're surrendering to that call. You're saying, okay, I'll do this. I will take the higher path and I will be a spiritual teacher. Or I will take the higher path and I will go work with one so that I can become one. Okay, that's a huge piece of that. All right, lovies, I am sending you so much love. I hope you enjoy the rest of this week. The next time you see me in a reading, it will be March, and we will be doing a whole reading for that month. I'm also going to share my spirit animal for March in the next reading. And if you guys want to book a spread for yourself, just email me and say, hey, Michelle, I'd love an animal spread. Drop me the $44.44 in my Venmo or PayPal, and then I'll quickly pull the spread for you, send you all the photos. And if you want personal readings each month on your animal via voice memo, you can pay $111. So I have two options. One is just the cards and the photos and my energy picking the cards for you. And then the other one is I send you a memo each month predicting your month. So everything's in the description box below for all of that. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you this weekend. All right, peace out.